Morning, Soul Fam. All right, so I want to do a little bit of real talk right now, and it's about the closing of the bone ceremony. And traditionally, this has been used for women who are postpartum and or women who have gone through miscarriage or an abortion. And there's a desire to literally close up the bones again, right? To feel whole again after going through trauma, essentially. And I have not gone through any of those things, but I received this ceremony back in June when I was in Portugal studying with the amazing Catarina. And many of you know that I was in a really traumatic car accident last year. And, as a healthcare provider, I understand the importance of really trying to quote unquote get better, right? And so I did all the things. I received acupuncture. I was doing essential oils. I was going to my chiropractor. I was receiving body work like cranial sacral and some massages. Shh, quiet. Don't you know I'm trying to record? And it, obviously it was helpful, right? But there was still something that I could feel, especially every time I was getting in the car. And it was this sense of just not feeling safe. And I could pinpoint exactly where it was. I was like, I have fear in my back. I have fear in my stomach. I have fear in my pelvis. And I literally felt like I was always living 2 inches outside of my body. I wasn't home. I was not present with myself. No matter what treatments that I was exploring, there was still something in my electromagnetic field that felt like there were gaps. And so for me, when because Kate and I were lucky enough to work with one another, when she started wrapping my bones, right? So, there's a couple different parts to this ritual. And so we explored the grief. We talked about and set some intentions for what I was looking to feel. And then we did some body work, and I felt so cool because I usually I feel like I'm the type of person who never wins things, or I never get picked for things. And the universe just knew okay, she's the one. So out of all the women in the group, we threw our names into a hat. And then the lovely she, who was working with Katarina in this immersion, she is a body worker. So I got picked. My name was picked from the hat. And she performed some body work on me. So, abdominal massage, and, we learned certain herbs that would also go along with this. And the third part of this is, taking a bath, right? And we didn't have access to a bathtub, but we all participated in a temescal together. So sweating, right? And then on the fourth day, the last day, and this would be the fourth part of this immersion, is that you are tied up, you're wrapped in rebozos. And Kate was my partner, and for me, especially with the with the car accident, I had a concussion. So the first part is that, she wraps up the head. She wraps up the bones, the skull, then the shoulders, the pelvis, the knees, the ankles. And then you're almost like a little mummy, right? But with that first wrapping of the skull, it was like, my spirit started to come back into my body. I could get like emotional over this because it was so profound. And I really want this for you too. And like I said, it's like this over the past year and a half, like I was just living outside of myself. And with that first closing of the bones in my head here, I started coming back into my body. And it wasn't just my nervous system. It was what was around in my electromagnetic field, right? The gaps started to close. And then she continued to wrap the rest of my body. And at the end of it, you wiggle yourself out, right? And I immersed out of that, like the butterfly in the cocoon, a completely different person. And it took me some time, to realize what exactly had transpired. But, and really integrate that into my body again. But, oh my gosh, I was home again. I landed back into my body, and there was this sense of the gaps were filled, right? So my energy was able to circulate again. I felt like I had been seen. I was witnessed in this grief, ever since my car accident. It's like I've been a completely different person. Part of my car accident was that I had a near-death experience. And I've been trying to make sense of it. My human mind has been trying to make sense of it and catch up in so many ways to what my spirit knows. Oh, there's 2 bunnies over there. Hi, guys. And in this ceremony, I was able to link the two. My spiritual and my etherical body truly then was integrated into the physical. And there are no other words to try to explain this, except that I felt whole. And so for those of you who have been contemplating, is the closing of the bones right for me? It is, especially if you've gone through any kind of trauma. You're experiencing this grief, this lingering grief, a longing, a loss. It's for you. And there is no, like I said, it's like I knew all the things to do. The acupuncture, the chiropractic, the body work, the essential oils, the flower essences. I knew what is good for the physical body, right? I'm a practitioner. I know what I need to do. But there is nothing that compares to this. Nothing. And so if you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to Kate or I. We are here to guide you through this, to walk you through any trauma, like I said, any grief that might be lingering. And that, especially if you can resonate with that feeling of living outside of yourself, oh man, you need this. All right, I love you. Be well, and I'll see you soon.